So let's take a moment to answer a very repetitive question from people in the MAGA.
Why do you hate Elon? You hate Elon because he's associated with Trump. You only dislike him because he's working with Trump.
There are many answers we could easily give and examples we could cite, like the fact that he has in recent months openly showed that he is a Yahtzee, shows his support for far-right Yahtzee groups in Germany, has spent the last several years pushing blatantly false propaganda on his platform, and that was all before he decided to try chopping apart and destroying our government. But let's just take the newest example, shall we? All the way up until November 5th, Papaya Palpatine kept saying, "I'm not gonna touch Social Security. Your Social Security is safe with me." Then after he won, he decided to start scaling that back a little bit, much like every other promise he made you guys. Like lowering your prices, which he then admitted he wasn't going to do. He promised he wasn't going to start any wars, yet he's teetering already on starting one with Canada and China. He made you guys put those stupid signs up in your yard that said, "Kamala high taxes, Trump low taxes." Meanwhile, he wants to extend his tax cuts on billionaires and raise the taxes on all of us. He promised you guys the world, again, and you were all suckers and fell for it. So then your buddy comes in and says he personally is going to chop $500 billion out of people's Social Security, blatantly walking back everything they promised, harming millions of people in the process, while he simultaneously goes through the Departments of Treasury and Education, starts canceling people's grants and contracts, and starts stealing people's personal information. A judge then comes along and says, that's illegal. You cannot be looking at people's sensitive Social Security records. The deceptive organization of Grandpa's enema doesn't need that information. So how do your dear cult leader and his bro respond? By saying that if they are not given access to that personal information at Social Security, that they are going to shut down Social Security. They said that if the doggy is not allowed to come in and muck spread all over the place, that he's going to shut the whole thing down. Talking about how the doggy wants to bring in anti-fraud teams. And this is because they just want to keep lying to you about what they're finding because you fall for it. Muskrat says they've found billions in waste and fraud, yet they don't show any of it because they haven't. Just like the fraud that they found in 2020 that was everywhere, yet they couldn't show you any of it and it never showed up. They're telling you that people who are 200 years old are receiving Social Security checks. That's a lie. All they want to do is get in there and keep cutting as much as they can in order to make way for extending their tax cuts for the rich. And yet, while they continue to do everything in their power to ruin the lives of the American people, people who are the most vulnerable, you guys just continue to keep licking his feet. I'd say that's a pretty good reason not to like the guy.